Hello, and welcome back to another video on legends and myths. Today I will be telling you the story of Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Not only was Athena the goddess of wisdom, she was also associated with war and crafts. She was the favorite daughter of Zeus and was, perhaps, the wisest, most courageous, and certainly the most resourceful of the Olympian gods. The story of Athena's birth all started when Zeus came to lust for Metis, a titaness, and chased her in his direct way. Metis tried to escape, going so far as to change her form many times. She changed into various creatures such as hawks, fish, and serpents. However, Zeus was both determined and equally proficient at changing form. He continued his pursuit until she relented. An oracle of Gaia then prophesied that Metis' first child would be a girl, and that her second child would be a boy that would overthrow Zeus, similarly to what happened to his father, Kronos, and his grandfather, Uranus. Zeus took this warning to heart. When he next saw Metis, he initially flattered her and put her at ease. Then, with Metis' guard down, Zeus opened his mouth and swallowed her and her unborn child. This was the end of Metis, but also the beginning of Zeus's wisdom. After a time, Zeus developed an unbearable headache, which made him scream out of pain so loudly it could be heard throughout the earth. The gods rushed to Zeus's aid, trying to see what the problem was. Hermes realized what needed to be done and directed Hephaestus to take a wedge and split open Zeus's skull. Out of the skull sprang Athena, fully grown and in a full set of armor. Due to the way of her birth, she became the goddess of intelligence and wisdom. Epithets of Athena include Pallas, girl, and Parthenos, virgin, living up to which she is conspicuous amongst the gods of Greek mythology for not including in illicit relationships with other divinities, demigods, or mortals. Other epithets of Athena were ergain, of the crafts, Nike, victory, and promachos, of war, perhaps referring to more patriotic, defensive, and strategic warfare, rather than attacking or brutal warfare, in contrast to her more aggressive, conflict-loving brother Ares. Nevertheless, the goddess was noted for her military prowess. Despite Athena being the goddess of wisdom, she can have a bit of a temper. In one myth, Athena and Arachne have a weaving contest. Arachne was a beautiful woman that had a great talent in weaving. Everyone was amazed at her work, and one day, Arachne boasted that she had a greater talent than goddess Athena herself. This was an offense towards the gods, which was a very serious and even deadly sin for the ancient Greeks. Because she was so self-confident, the goddess Athena transformed her into a spider to weave for all her life long. Another myth, one which is very well known, is the transformation of Medusa. According to Ovid's telling of the myth, Medusa was a beautiful maiden, a priestess of Athena, who had sex with Poseidon in Athena's temple. Enraged by the affair, Athena punished Medusa by turning her hair into fearful snakes, capable of turning onlookers to stone. Eventually, Medusa was beheaded whilst pregnant, carrying Poseidon's offspring, Pegasus and Chrysaor, by Perseus, who took her head and continued to use it as a weapon, turning enemies who looked upon it to stone, until he eventually returned the head to Athena and went to marry the princess Andromeda, who just so happened to be the most beautiful woman at the time. Athena is also the patron goddess of household crafts, giving mortals the gifts of cooking and sewing. She is said to have invented the aulos, but on seeing her reflection and her puffed cheeks when playing these pipes, she threw them away to be picked up by the satyr Marsyas. Athena is closely associated with Athens, the city named in her honor after the people of Attica chose her as their patron following her gift of the olive tree, symbol of peace and plenty. The 5th century BCE temple of the Parthenon, which continues to this day to dominate the Acropolis of the city, was built in her honor. Her adopted son Erichthonius, one of the first king of Athens, is traditionally credited with inaugurating the Panathenaic festival, held every 4 years to honor the goddess. The festival included magnificent procession through the city, the presentation to Athena of a specially woven peplos, depicting the gigantomachy and athletic games. Prizes for the games were amphorae painted with a figure of Athena and contained prime olive oil. In her role as a protector, she was also revered in many other major cities, notably as patron of Sparta, as the founder of Thebes in Boeotia, and at Corinth, where she appeared on the city's coins. Athena can be seen as the protector of the mighty Hercules, considering she has aided him in his 12 labors, such as helping the mighty hero hold the world as Atlas searches for the sacred apples of the Hesperides. Perseus was another favorite and was given a shield to protect himself in his quest to kill the Gorgon Medusa. Achilles, the hero of the Trojan War, was also aided by Athena to kill Hector, as well as Odysseus, who often given the benefit of Athena's wisdom, for example, the idea to dress as a beggar on his return to Ithaca, and is also protected from arrows of his rivals when he clears the palace of the interlopers. Jason, leader of the Argonauts, whose quest for the Golden Fleece featured in Greek literature, was yet another hero who benefited from Athena's resourcefulness when she encouraged Argo to build the first Greek longship, which would carry his name and the fame of the Argonauts. Athena was a major protagonist in Homer's account of the Trojan War in the Iliad, where she supports the Achaeans and their heroes, especially Achilles, to whom she gives encouragement and wise counsel, Menelaus, who is saved from the arrow of Pandaros, and Diomedes, whose spear is diverted to injure the war god Ares himself. Aphrodite was another divinity who came off second best when she clashed with Athena. The goddess also gave protection to Odysseus and is credited with giving him the idea of the wooden horse, which won the Greeks the war over the Trojans. Both Homer and Hesiod refer to Athena as bright-eyed and Tritigenia. She is also frequently called goddess of spoil, the lovely-haired goddess, and Alalcomenaian Athena. Objects associated with Athena include the olive tree and an owl, which symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, perspicacity, and erudition. She is often depicted in art with armor, a golden helmet, a shield, and holding a spear. Athena was also linked with the serpent, which represents transformation, rebirth, and the ability to navigate complex challenges, reflecting Athena's own attributes as a wise and resourceful goddess. Although Athena is more commonly associated with the arts of war and weaving, she was also credited with the creation of the flute and trumpet. This demonstrates her influence on the arts and highlights her multifaceted nature as a goddess of both wisdom and creativity. Her armor is aegis made, in some accounts, from the skin of a giant, hung with tassels of gold and featuring the head of Medusa given to her by Perseus. Athena has no full siblings since her mother had no other children. On her father's side, Zeus, Athena has many half-siblings. The most notable are Hercules, Perseus, Artemis, Apollo, Ares, Hephaestus, Hermes, and Dionysus. It is mentioned that Poseidon and Athena had a much publicized quarrel over who deserves to be the patron of the most prosperous ancient Greek city, Athens. Poseidon claimed that the city would benefit more from him than Athena, and to prove this, he struck his trident into a rock, creating a seawater stream which welled up in the temple of Erechtheion on the north side of the Acropolis. Smart as she was, Athena did nothing spectacular. She merely planted an olive tree. However, the first king of Athens, Cecrops, who was the judge of the contest, realized that the olive oil tree was much more beneficial since it gave the Athenians fruit, oil, and wood. Athena was a master artisan. As much as she was the female counterpart of Ares as war goddess, she was also the female equivalent of Hephaestus when it came to arts and crafts. Homer says that Athena fashioned ornate and luxuriously embroidered robes for Hera and herself. Some even say that she combined her two main interests to invent the war chariot and even the warship. Contrary to popular belief, Athena is not a war goddess in the same sense as Ares. While both deities are associated with war, their roles are fundamentally different. Athena is revered for her strategic thinking, wisdom, and diplomacy, whereas Ares embodies the violent and chaotic aspects of war. This misconception often overshadows Athena's connection to peace, as she sought to resolve conflicts through wisdom and negotiation rather than brute force. Athena has greatly influenced the modern world today. She was used in important symbolism throughout our world. People used her status as intelligence, logic, wisdom, reasoning, and creativity to help pursue a higher meaning of being human. She is a protector, a guardian, and a guide for those in need. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this to come. Take care, and I'll see you in the next myth.